If your life feels a bit messy, watch this. Now, I've got a ruler here, and this often is the way people see their life, like a straight line, or they feel it's supposed to be like that. And the longer it is, the higher the numbers, the more it goes on, the better. Now, it's a little bit like this. We expect life to be like that. So, we are born, we go to nursery school, we go to primary school, secondary school, further education, and then we might choose university, we get a job, etc., etc., etc. And in that line, there are certain points when you finish secondary school, what kind of further education I'm going to follow, or when I finish university, what kind of job am I going to do? People feel that they have to, at that point, make a decision for the rest of their life. And nothing could be further from the truth, because this doesn't really represent real life. Because at the end of the day, the ruler is how we get to view life, because for about 15 or 20 years, we find ourselves in the education system. And although school is not teaching us that life is working in a linear way, we end up kind of expecting it, because we are in groups with people with the same age, we are following a certain timetable, we start in September, we have regular breaks, and then all of a sudden there is no more school, and we've not been prepared for not having a timetable. So life is not linear. But when we're in school, we get these notebooks and we fill them with notes and we fill them with things that we learn that somebody else tells us to complete. But life is a blank page. And sometimes it's really scary that you at that point have all the authority to put on here what you wish to put on if you've not been prepared for it in the right way. Because at the end of the day, life is not a straight line. It's actually much more a squiggly line that goes all over the place, where you might have some excellent wins and successes and incredible things that happen to you. But at the same time, here, you might find life does not work the way you planned it. Maybe something untoward happened. Maybe something happened you didn't expect. Maybe you just failed at something. So this is much more what life is supposed to look like. I remember when I was finishing secondary school, I really wanted to go to drama school. Even though my parents didn't really believe that that was the right way for me to go. I got into drama school, and then there was a massive selection process in that whole first year. And I got all the way to the final 8. But in the end, I didn't make the last few people that were put over to the next year. Now that felt to me like a terrible disaster, almost as if life was going to end as I knew it at the time. But it led me to move to England. And I learned how to speak English fluently because Dutch is my first language. I found a whole new way of expressing my life. I learned new skills. So looking back, actually something that felt as a terrible disaster turned out to be something really good, because sometimes we need to develop new eyes. Our school journeys are mostly focused on the successes. We tell our stories to other people and we edit out the things that didn't go so well. We tell people this went really well. But I would argue that where you learn the most is when it didn't go so well. Those are your biggest learning opportunities. In actual fact, if you end up telling a story or any story, then it would be a very boring story if everything just went absolutely perfect. So one thing that you can apply here is a technique called reframing. Now, what is reframing? I've got a picture here. Look at this picture. At the moment, it's got a silver colored frame. But if you were to give this picture a different frame, the picture on the inside would look differently. I could give it a different color frame. I could give it an ornate frame. Whatever frame is around this picture will have an impact on how the picture looks. Now, you can do exactly the same thing in your mind. So a story that you tell yourself, you can simply tell in a different way. It's called reframing. Seeing at the same picture in the same way will always give you the same outcomes. But if you learn to look at it differently, for instance, by asking, well, this happened, what did I learn? And with that, you can reframe it, because maybe the lessons you drew from that very thing were invaluable. Maybe what you'd like to do right now is just pause this video and think about a couple of times in your life where you may have failed, or you've told yourself, I was a failure, I didn't do that well. Write that incident up, and next to it write what you've learned from it. Could you have learned that lesson in any other way than by trying? Try that now. So what did you learn? This might, by the way, require a little bit of practice. But if you look at events as something isolated, something that happened, and it might not have gone to plan, it might have been a complete disaster, but if the lessons you drew from it were worthwhile and made you see things in a different light, made you acquire skills, made you, in the end, a better person or a better skilled, then it was absolutely worth it. Now, when we learn to speak, when we learn to walk, when we learn to ride a bike, it never goes well first time round. It would be a little bit odd. So why would we expect maybe relationships, exams, careers, all to go perfect first time round? It doesn't quite work like that, I don't think. So we need to look at life a little bit more flexibly. So we think of it as something that's taut and straight and it's got to go like this or even like that, starting here and only getting better step by step. But more often than not, it's exactly how string moves. It's wibbly and wobbly. It goes all over the place. And that's absolutely right. So learn to reframe what you're doing. Look at something, what has happened, and what have I learned? But there's one thing to look out for, because I think it's always important to make your own mistakes. Don't make anybody else's. Don't repeat mistakes. But sometimes that does happen. So in that very squiggly line, you might find that you sometimes have to learn the same lesson a couple of times. The first time you didn't quite get it. It's almost like life is whispering at you. And if you repeat the same mistake or the same pattern, it starts shouting at you. In the hope that you will get the actual lesson in the end. And that's really important. At the end of the day, your 20s, maybe your entire life, but certainly your 20s, is not supposed to be a straight line. Life isn't linear. It's much more like that. And so if your life feels a bit messy at the moment, because you've got these highs and lows, you're doing brilliantly. That's exactly how it's supposed to look, providing you actually celebrate these moments and you learn from these moments. Because I wish that these were some of the things that somebody told me when I was 18, and that's exactly what this whole channel is about. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much for watching.